All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
The Sage, the Wise Man.
You're too kind.
And yesterday, the debates were a disaster. Or could we say a cluster bomb instead of the other word? I don't really know how to describe it other than a bunch of really pathetic gotcha journalists trying to catch people in a poorly framed progressive light or a poorly framed establishment electability like that was beyond what Pete Buttigieg once called unwatchable. And now what Cody the Oracle, I believe you said in our show prep, insufferable was the terminology. So we're going to look at some reactions to some of these. I can't even call them highlights because they're cringe lights. You know what I'm saying? They're so cringeworthy. Cody, tell us what's going on.
Well, I guess for the most part, because I have to admit, I ended up skimming this debate more than watching it. Because like I said, there's no Andrew Yang, and a lot of the stuff made it on the things anyway. But what stood out to me was definitely the discussion around Andrew Yang around this debate. That's kind of what I want to talk about. So we talked a bit last night. You might have saw the video about Andrew Yang potentially giving his Twitter account over to Norm Macdonald to live tweet the debate for him. Kind of got swerved there by Andrew Yang. It's not what happening. Yeah. Not what ended up happening. Even though Andrew Yang did confirm it was happening, it's not quite what happened. So instead, Andrew Yang used his Twitter account mostly to retweet other people's tweets during the debate. So we'll scroll through those for a second, and there's a reason why we're going to do this. So you'll see a lot of people. At first, it looks like these people over at the Sorority of Yang account, which are over in Iowa are now campaigning. Shout out to them. Sent over some stuff, and then as the day moved on, he started. I believe this was Norm Macdonald here, the Captain Midnight one you're eating.
Yeah.
And then as it went on, he started retweeting. I'm not going to go through every single one, but he started retweeting the tweets of others. And you'll notice a trend started to emerge throughout the night, which they kind of latched onto. A lot of verified Twitter accounts, a whole lot of non-verified Twitter accounts saying the same thing. Either why isn't Andrew Yang on the stage, or I wish he was. Where's Andrew right here from Kathleen Madigan, actress? We have here from Nick Coruscant, I'm familiar with that 1990 exchange evidence that Andrew Yang voice missing from the stage. And we saw a lot of people coming out and saying, where is Andrew Yang here? Where's Andrew Yang when you need him? And I'll scroll through. You'll notice it's a lot. And it actually led to a discussion that kind of has gone beyond the debate. And again, most of these tweets are not only all positive to Yang. A lot of these verified users saying, why isn't he on the stage? I wish he was. I miss him on the stage. After the debate, Van Jones even said that he missed having Andrew Yang up on the stage.
Yeah.
CNN host of the debate, right? So this story.
Sorry, Van, you helped build this establishment dragon that is super corrupt.
He collects
You
checks.
have shilled for the DNC so long. You don't really have a right to say I miss him.
I would say he besides from just collecting their checks, he's better than most. Anyway, this led to something else happening.
It seems like he's kind of also tried to turn it around. He's, gone to the White House and says, though I don't agree with you, we need to be civil. And he wrote his book trying to say, let's get back to an America where we love each other again, which I found slightly disingenuous.
Whenever you see him kind of not on camera, whenever you catch him candid, he seems like a great guy. So I think part of it is he collects checks.
He suffers from the Cory Booker syndrome.
Oh, not as much. I think Cory Booker is more of an issue with Cory Booker. He just does better when he's being natural, when it's hard to be like a politician. Van Jones, dude, I'm not going to get too far into a CNN discussion, even though it's part of it, because everyone hated CNN at the end of this debate. Nobody was happy.
This was the single worst moderated event I've seen in my life.
Before we get to that, I just want to get to the stuff I was trying to talk about before. So this is what ended up happening. America needs Yang ended up trending worldwide, I believe, during the debate, as people were coming out, as I was showing, some people tweeting out saying, where is Andrew Yang? Why isn't he on stage? And it was so interesting. Even Newsweek had to write an article about this, and they just recapped the debate and posted a bunch of tweets in there. But I thought it was really interesting because this outburst on Twitter of people tweeting out, and I'm sure a lot of you guys recognize yourselves in the Twitter, or you recognize a lot of these Twitter accounts in here. But even, Newsweek had to recognize, holy cow, a lot of people, the God account tweeted out his endorsement for Andrew Yang. For those of you who don't know, the God account is a joke account ran by some writer out of New York, I believe, comedy writer. Comedy shows. Anyway, it's an account with a lot of followers, but even the God account came out to endorse Andrew Yang. According to him, he'd gone 5,000 years without talking to a single Chinese person. Don't believe Andrew Yang is Chinese, but whatever. Anyway, he said he'll be endorsing Andrew Yang and said American.
Well, so much less endorsing him. And then the argument is...
Well, one more thing, and then we're done with this. Let me move on. This led to an article I saw in the Washington Examiner this morning saying Andrew Yang won last night's primary debate without attending it. And they post a thing from ABC News here, which is what I really wanted to post to show you guys as well. This is showing the most tweeted about candidates during the debate. The fourth most tweeted about candidate was Andrew Yang. He was tweeted about more than Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Tom Steyer. He was the fourth most tweeted about candidate and didn't even appear on the stage. So, unfortunately, that's where I have to bring up the thing I say all the time. Twitter is not real life. However, not only is Twitter not real life, all the journalists are on Twitter, so it feels more real to them than anyone else. That being said, everybody was talking about Andrew Yang last night. He wasn't on the stage, and unfortunately for everybody else, there was one other conversation, two other conversations that dominated from what I could see. The CNN moderation was awful, and man, are they out to get Bernie Sanders. Those are the only things anyone talked about. So for Andrew Yang to weasel his way into that conversation,
we probably don't even have to rehash.
Ignore.
We probably don't even have to rehash that one question. But what was that one question where it's basically, so when did you stop beating your wife? Yeah, it was about the sexism issue where Bernie Sanders said that a woman can't be president.
Bernie Sanders, it's not an exact quote, but
they basically asked him a question saying, hey, so why are you anti-woman? And then he basically says, I'm not anti-woman. There's videos of me 30 years ago telling children that they should run, female children, they should run for president. And then the follow-up question was like, so what do you have to say about your sexist comment? It's just like...
I'm trying to bring it up. What actually happened? What happened was they asked, so Bernie Sanders, did you say this to Elizabeth Warren? He said, no, I did not say it. They immediately after turned to Elizabeth Warren and say, so Elizabeth Warren, when he said this thing to you, how did you respond? It was ridiculous. I mean, even people on CNN's panelists, again, CNN hosted the debate. They probably would have more reason to play the party line here or the company line than anyone else at this point. And even they were like, this was a rough debate. There was a really awful moment. I believe it was Chris Cuomo who said, well, either Elizabeth Warren's misremembering, and who would believe that, or Bernie Sanders is lying. And it's one of those things, like I said, I'm not the biggest Bernie Sanders fan. I really disagree with a lot of his policies and stuff, but like seeing anyone just absolutely lied on in the media like this is kind of getting ridiculous to this point where it's like, now, unfortunately for Bernie Sanders, he's not doing himself any favors. We can get into the whole issue with that in a video in the next day or so. There's the James O'Keefe stuff coming out about the Bernie Bros, which is the line of attack against Bernie Sanders going back 4 years now that's being resurfaced. There was also the odd story where a script for what to say to other supporters, the negative about their candidates.
Yeah, we did that video yesterday.
They initially denied it was real, and a couple days later confirmed it was real. I'm not going to get into a whole long thing about it, just saying no one's innocent in this, but that was what was interesting is the fact that the debate was so awful, and really, you were either going to talk about the Warren-Sanders feud, which, by the way, earlier, before this image you're seeing right here, Elizabeth Warren literally refused to shake Bernie Sanders' hand. So, in a night that's going to be remembered for, it seems like, two things, the Bernie Sanders-Elizabeth Warren drama.
And that makes her look bad, though, because it was very natural. It seemed like Bernie Sanders was just extending the arm, kind of like, okay, politics is politics. We have to say these stupid things. Let's, let bygones be bygones. And she's the one pulling the Beezy thing. You know what I'm saying? And that makes her look bad. That's not a poor representation of Bernie Sanders. That's a poor representation of Elizabeth Warren. I think that's going to cost her.
Yeah, but I mean, because we'll do another video talking more about that specific drama. I just want to talk about the fact that on a night where there was two of the most high-profile candidates on the stage openly sparring with each other, one of the things that stood out tonight and the people were talking about, and again, I'll show this graphic from ABC News, it was Andrew Yang, man.
Yeah.
Twitter, I would also say, is probably where the most debate discussion about the debate discussion, I guess in general, but the most discussion about this televised event probably happened on Twitter more than anywhere else. And Andrew Yang was the name coming up because Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, they're a gimme. They're literally fighting they're basically both accusing each other of being liars on stage. I mean, that's huge. Of course, people are going to talk about that. Joe Biden, I think a lot of people are just saying, why isn't Joe Biden getting pressed harder? But Andrew Yang, more popular than people who just Amy Klobuchar on Twitter. But again, that's
really good for Amy Klobuchar. This is really good. More and more, she looks like the adult in the room. When people start sparring and look really crappy, if she could take advantage of this, I don't think she has. But this opens up potential. Well, let me amend what I said. It doesn't make her look like the adult in the room. She has the opportunity to rise and look like the adult in the room right now if she wanted to take it. And I think she should. Pete Buttigieg, I think still, that wine cave just cost him. And the inauthenticity of so much of what that campaign has put out is just, I think that's a ghost that's going to chase him for a while. I'm amazed, and I think we could probably even do a follow-up video, Cody, on what all of the Google searches were and the tweets were.
Well, no,
and
I'm pulling this up right here.
The fact that Andrew Yang was the fourth.
This is you'll notice that these are global tweets pretty quickly when I flash them onto the screen. But American Needs Yang was trending third 12 hours ago, which would have been 10:30 p.m. last night globally. You'll notice that some of this stuff, I believe it's Korean. I know it's really popular in Korea. Like Crisis on Infinite Earths is a big, I think, like TV comic event. I mean, like Luke Kuechly retired from the NFL, and you'll notice people were talking about American Needs Yang above basically the only thing that outranked Carden, what's the only thing above America Beats Yang? American Needs Yang.
CNN is trash and Dem debate.
But
by the way, I fully endorse this hashtag.
Oh yeah, well, is that not the best way to sum it up? That basically this was a discussion there was the Dem debate. And there was two discussions. CNN is trash and America Needs Andrew Yang. That's what people are talking about.
You know, I almost wish we could redo this video and just start out with a more powerful intro, just saying, it looks like Andrew Yang almost won the debate without even being there.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it got as high as, was it ever number one? It was as high as number 2 in the world. These are global trends. These are not U.S. trends. These are global trends. It was it's very rare you see politics unless like something crazy happens. For the most part, outrank sports in Twitter mentions. Luke Kuechly, John Morant, these are all sports references. But you'll see tonight with the debate, CNN is trash. Tom Steyer and American Needs Yang definitely did.
You know, I'm going to make a community post that says, I think Andrew Yang still won the debate because the number one tweet during the debate was Dem debate, America Needs Yang, and CNN is trash.
And look, and we're seeing those articles.
That's the trifecta. If you can effectively dunk on the organizing and sanctioning body of the debates as trash while talking about the only person that wasn't allowed to show up after Amy Klobuchar was given basically preferential treatment by extending the rules in a way that only benefited her for this debate, okay? While simultaneously just mocking the event as a whole. I think if you can cover all three of those, publicizing the event while mocking it, delegitimizing the sanctioning body, and then augmenting the profile of the only person that didn't show up, this is king of the internet stuff.
Yeah.
We talked about that video 2 or 3 days ago. This is the king of the internet stuff that I want to see more of from Andrew Yang.
Well, I guess, we can kind of like leave this discussion on this. Andrew Yang tweeted out, that's the last debate I will miss early this morning. And you know what? Looking at the outpouring of support, I hope the DNC notices it, and I hope, yes, that is true. I believe it to be true. I think it will be the last debate he misses, because the DNC would be foolish to. You know what? I hate to use these references again. Happens all the time in pro wrestling. Happened big time to Randy Savage at one point. The fans loved the guy. If the company had just realized it and actually promoted him, could have made a lot of money. Hopefully the DNC doesn't make that mistake here with Andrew Yang. The people love the guy. Why are you denying the people? Why are you trying to push Joe Biden? Why are you trying to push Elizabeth Warren? No one wants them. It's like, don't want to get too far in wrestling again, but there was a really famous incident in the last 4 or 5 years. There was a wrestler named Roman Reigns. They were trying to promote him to be the number one wrestler. It got so bad they had to edit the boos out of the replays when they played him on later because he was getting booed so much. I hope it doesn't take that to the DNC. I hope they're not literally editing boos out of their broadcast before they realize people don't want people.
I got an idea, and you need to be the director of this program, okay? I have often said, I think before you can be a regional police officer, all right, in some small town, oftentimes when we have these problems with shootings or excessive lethal force and things like that, it's oftentimes in these regional police departments, you know what I'm saying, where people have called into question the training of these officers, okay? Also, I think sometimes in these suburbs, the suburban police departments are always making mountains out of molehills. I really think before you can be a police officer in a nice, sleepy suburban town or in some of these rural areas, you have to have done at least like 6 months of service in LAPD or NYPD so you actually know what real problems are. You know what I'm saying? Similar to Andrew Yang's American Exchange Student Program, I think politicians and political consultants should work for the WWE as interns for like a solid 6 weeks. So they just understand the need for, just the cheap heat, going over, making it happen. I think the WWE could be a better internship program than most political science departments at most major universities.
I don't need too much drama. Not the WWE, not anymore. Not
WWE.
They are the bureaucratic, awful red tape nonsense that you hate to see in government now. But they're getting too far into that separate discussion. I agree. Like, there is a sense of you have to understand how to work a crowd, and that's if you're gonna go out there in tights and pretend to fight somebody, you better know how to work a crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think it's part of it. But like I said, the big part is I don't want to see the DNC make the same mistake Vince McMahon made many times. Put the belt on Yang, push him, see what happens, and you might be surprised. Because people love the guy. They're either saying we hate CNN or we like Andrew Yang. That was the discussion last night on the internet. So again, the internet is not real life, but I have to say, it's not like in the streets I'm walking into people that are just falling over themselves to support Joe Biden. I'm not walking people in the streets who are just like, Elizabeth Warren. Well, I mean, that's not what's going on either. It's not like we're denying reality here. I mean, actually, I was going to do maybe a separate video on this. I guess we'll just mention it.
Let's do a separate video.
We'll mention it here, though.
Because I got another video we got to do.
No, but Rasmussen polling actually came out, and they posted their aggregate for the season. And Andrew Yang actually nationally is polling at 5% during the span where he was barred from qualifying the debate because he didn't have a 5% qualifying polls. Well, if you take qualifying polls out, he's polling at near 6% nationally among likely Dems. So they are definitely... There is an engineering to what's going on back there. It's one of the things when Andrew Yang missed the debate. While I thought he would have made it, I wasn't surprised because that was the plan. It was designed for him to miss the debate. The DNC structured this thing to have these people on the stage. I don't think they wanted Steyer. I think they're mad at Steyer for making his way up there. And you notice they didn't really give him a lot of shine either. So
well, it makes them look bad that they can be bought. And even if you want to be bought and you want the money and you want those connections, it looks bad.
It looks like a work, doesn't it? It looks like at the end of the day, Joe Biden's going to win this thing. So we'll turn Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. We'll keep Andrew Yang off the stage. We'll keep everyone else off the stage. Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, whatever. You're just there to fill out the numbers because you're so unoffensive and so boring. Actually, Pete Buttigieg, if you know what I mean? Like, you could have them literally... They're the stuffed suits. They're just there to fill podiums at this point, to give Joe Biden the rub and to make Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren fight each other publicly until both their campaigns take hits from it. It's just like, if that's the game, if that's the plan, if Joe Biden is the guy they're pushing, I think they're going to be very, very surprised. Because there's the other thing, too, we talked about it before. When the impeachment trial starts, the only front runners who benefit, if you want to call Pete a front runner still, are Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
He's the only one of the top four. Again, I think it's going to give Andrew Yang the lane he needs because those people will be gone. Because one thing, the entire 2020 discussion right now is going to be Bernie Sanders versus Elizabeth Warren until that squabble settle. I mean, publicly arguing with each other and leaving on bad terms on the debate stage is not going to quell any of this. Sorry, I went a little bit long on that one, but it's crazy to see that the DNC is so blind or so arrogant. Where they're just like, you're going to take Biden. Like I said, Biden's got the Roman Reigns syndrome. We're going to push him to the moon and you're going to like it. And it's awful.
Yeah. So we got to get to these other videos. I do have one question before we start our other videos. And you can tell me if this needs to be its own video because I think it actually could be. But here's a question for you. With a progressive wing in the party, that I feel bad for it. There's lots of really good progressives with really good ideas. And their only hope in 2016 was getting behind Bernie, and they got squashed in a super corrupt manner. And now they're getting behind Bernie and then kind of Elizabeth and to a certain extent, some parts with the freedom dividend, Andrew Yang. They're all getting squashed again. Do you think there will be political violence if because when you watch this Bernie Bro thing off the Project Veritas thing comes out, he's not talking. They're not talking about going after conservatives. They're talking about going after the centrists.
I'll just cut you off. No.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think that they will be tired enough
that
they start a couple riots?
No.
Okay, cool. Rock on. Rock on.
Not going to be violence in the streets because Bernie Sanders lost again if they screw him again. Because you know what? I will admit the people that are probably going to be the ones that will be very upset, people who stuck with him through both. Without getting too long into this, I don't think they'll be. I do not think there's going to be people threatening Joe Biden realistically when this happens because
maybe not directly threatening Joe Biden, but
Tom Perez, MSNBC, CNN, like it's I don't know. I don't. You know what though? At the same time, when I remember when I was a little kid, the Lakers won the championship and they rioted in the streets. So who knows? Yeah. But I was
about to say there was the concert at Magic Mountain. We had quite a few riots here that you and I have lived through here in Los Angeles, Cody. So anyway, let us know what you guys think below. This is some really interesting data. I think the debate was horrible, but tell us if we go wrong. If you guys think it was great, let us know why in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this and share it with your friends if you can. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at PSP Radio 1. We're also on Instagram as Problem Solver Politics. Make sure you check us out there. Also, thank you to everybody who got their hats. Have we gotten the name and address from M. Percy yet? Rock on. Awesome. So they're all caught up to date. If you guys want to get yours, make sure you check us out at problemsolverpolitics.com. This is Problem Solver Politics. See you guys in the next video.